If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Hey everybody, welcome to this new video series, or part series I'll be creating about financial literacy and the necessary skills to make better decisions for your personal finances. I like to share what I've learned so far in my journey with financial literacy. But it's really important to understand that, like, within the United States, 4 out of 5 people, think about that. Every 5 people you meet, 4 of them live paycheck to paycheck. Now, this could vary depending on where you live and the people you associate yourself with, but still, that's a very high number for the entire United States. And this means that they don't have savings accounts, they don't have retirement accounts, or they're not putting adequate funds to help paying themselves first, as we will discuss with financial literacy. And this leads to them feeling like they're always going to be in debt, and that's just not a good spot to be in for yourself. So financial literacy is important, as these skills will help you will be that 1/5 person. Hopefully, this number and statistic can change in the future, as nobody wants to be in a crisis and not being able to afford a rainy day with like a medical expense. And so, if something out of the ordinary occurs, you won't be prepared. So financial literacy is defined as the possession of skills to make better decisions with money. That's the definition, formal definition. And one of the most almost I would say topics included in financial literacy is budgeting, and this is creating a plan and being disciplined and sticking to it, where each month, each day, each week, however you break it up, most likely it's a month, but you break up and you put a certain amount of your income or funds into a savings account, and this can be a savings account for an emergency example. This can be a savings account for a vacation, to go visit your family in another state, or just travel somewhere. It's also investing, paying your bills, making sure all your debt is covered or is been taken care of, and back to that 4 to 5 statistics. Many Americans are in debt with credit card companies or auto loans, student loans, and people have mortgages. Now, mortgages, that's a different type of debt. That's a extensive period of time to pay back. But auto loans and student loans, those are big ones that you've seen in the news recently. And having debt, that makes it difficult, as that it begins to impact your credit score, and we'll explore what that means, why your credit score is so important. And going back to with financial literacy is all these topics in developing the skills, so that when something happens or at the end of that month, you can pay yourself first. You can make sure that 10 years from now, 15, 30 even, retirement, you are in a good spot to take care of yourself as well as people closest to you. And here's a sample quiz with some questions about how to evaluate if you're financial literate or not. And we'll, of course, be covering these questions later. One of the questions is, do you know how to create a monthly budget that includes all of your basic expenses, your bills, any debts, your sinking funds for future purchases? Now, we discussed this earlier, but that's a good one to think about. And here's another question. Are you currently debt-free, or are you taking active steps to reduce your debts? Do you know about how much money you spend to cover living expenses over a period of 3 to 6 months? Do you have emergency fund in place that will allow you to get through a sudden large life event like a layoff or a totaled vehicle without having to borrow money? Do you have understanding of how compound interest allows invest in money to grow over time. And we also explore how compound interest can work negatively as form of debts, how interest rates work, and all that. Do you know the various kinds of insurance that are needed to protect your finances and investments? Do you understand the difference between an investment and insurance? And those are some of the questions. And it's awesome if you know if you can answer some of those questions at least. But don't worry. This series will help ensure that you can develop the skills needed to make better decisions throughout your life. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us, leave us a comment, and we'll try to answer it.